Hello, hello, hello. Very, very happy new year, everybody. Super good to see so many of you here on a new year. I just wanted to do a quick Insta live to wish you all and to just make sure that we start the year on the most beautiful, positive note. And it turned out to be that 1st January is a Wednesday. So I said maybe God wants me to do this. My trip to London was absolutely fabulous. Got to spend so much time with my older one. It's always so lovely when I'm surrounded with the kids. We just actually went to Peshawari for lunch. My niece is here also from London. My younger one is also here. So we all went on a family lunch to have some nice kebabs. It was so lovely. I kept a New Year party at my home yesterday. Just very few people and us. I like to bring in the new year with, I think at my own speed. So it was really nice. Decorated the whole house actually. There's lovely flowers as you can see right here. Flowers and there's just flowers everywhere. Flowers at the back. So the house is fully floral right now. So enjoying the flowers. If you are also someone who loves flowers like me, then you know what I'm talking about. Just did the whole terrace up. Terrace was looking gorgeous with mirchi lights and all of that. So had a really nice time. I'm still getting over my jet lag. I think my jet lag has not become fine yet. 3 days I've not really slept. So planning to sleep tonight properly. I hope so. I get some good sleep. Waiting eagerly to see you. How sweet. God bless you, darling. Saubana Pooja ma'am, happy to see you. Excited. Oh, so sweet. How to create a friend in other states in the age of 25. How to create friend in other states. I don't know what you mean really by that question, but general rule of friendship is the same. That anytime you want to make friendships once you're outside of school and college, it is to look for shared interests. What does that mean? Join the gym, join a dance class, you go to places which are of interest to you so that you can have a common group. Maybe you love hiking, you can make a hiking group. Maybe you love dancing, you can go dancing with somebody. And the way to make friendships after a certain age is either at work or through shared interests. So some sort of a hobby that is of interest to you is one of the easiest ways to make friends in other states. Yeah. Which mashup? It was some mashup 2024. आप बहुत अच्छे लग रहे हैं. So sweet. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stunning, stunning, stunning. You guys are just so kind. I love you. Thank you so much. How was London and Dubai? Fabulous, like I said. Looking beautiful, Pooja. My sister-in-law gives us used things as what should I do? I feel really bad. What should I do to deal with it? Gift. You know, everybody has a different sense of doing things. Some people are brilliant at gifts, some people are not. Some people are brilliant at being hosts, some people are not. Some people are brilliant in your bad times, some people are not. The reason I'm sharing this is because I feel like whatever we are good at, normally we want the other person to be good at also. And whatever we are not good at doesn't remain important for us in other people's lives also. So anybody who has a scarcity mindset will try to use, pass gifts on or, give used gifts. And they're not doing it because they want to insult you. They're doing it because they don't have enough respect for themselves. See, a person who's willing to give a gift like that is also then willing to receive gifts like that, correct? Which means they have no personal respect. So such people, I don't know if we should be wasting any energy on them, The one thing you can do is take the gift and pass it on to someone else. When I say pass it on to someone else, give it in charity. Give it away. I will get so many gifts, and for me 80% of all the gifts that I receive are of no use to me. Okay, firstly, I'm not even a great receiver. They are of no use to me. I keep telling everybody, do not bring anything when you're coming to my house. However, if people still bring, then what I do is I then look at the gift and go, who would this be most appropriate for? and I just pass it on instead of carrying the negative energy of why would someone give me used gifts, because the giving of the used gifts has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the person and their own personal standard. So you'll see some people who will really decorate the gift, the way they present it, the way they will give it. When you see someone giving great gifts, you should know they have a lot of self-love. And when you see someone not being able to give great gifts, you should not feel angry with them. You should feel sympathy for them. Because that means they haven't understood the concept of giving, the concept of money, the concept of what this is supposed to do. You know, like the other day I was in London and my son literally went and bought two of my favorite things, makeup and stationery. And to me, I found that so thoughtful that somebody has bothered to think through what it is I will absolutely love. Correct? And I feel like when we give gifts like that, and some people have an art of giving gifts and some people just don't know how to. You know? So it's all, once you realize that it's not you, it's them, then it becomes much easier to deal with this person. Okay, now I want you to go looking at, there must be some good qualities of your sister-in-law. Maybe she is good at spending time with you. Maybe she's good with quality time. Maybe she's good with words of appreciation. Maybe she's good in bad times. Maybe she's good in something, you know, and see if you can focus on that. Because I know that I have a friend who does a very good job. When she invites you home, no, she'll cook 15 dishes. But the other friend that I have, when you go to her house, you'll get only one dish and chapati. And that also will not be enough food on the table. So this one friend will grumble about the other friend. ऐसे जब तुझे पता है तो खा के जाना, वो तेरे को नहीं इंसल्ट कर रही, वो है ही इस लेवल की, वो खाती अपनी 2 सब्जी के साथ है, उसको पता ही नहीं है कि 15 सब्जियां बन सकती हैं लोगों के लिए, उसको आइडिया ही नहीं है. Okay, and once you start to look at the world like that, I think Mel Robbins has come out. I've not read the book, but there's a new book she's come out with, the Let Them Theory. And I haven't read the book enough, but I'm guessing the Let Them Theory is when you start to allow people to be however they are. That you don't make it your personal thing that you have to either fix them or get hurt by them. Okay? Like just let them. Let them. I just loved it. I'm going to definitely get my hands on that book. I would highly recommend it to you too. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to every single one of you. London was cold. Yes, it was lovely. Leaf Kettle is asking, how do you deal with family conflict, especially with parents? You know, with parents, I believe that we go through 3 stages. One stage, this first stage is when we think they can't make a mistake. We idealize them. We totally, feel like they are the heroes, correct? And then we go through a stage of what I call the, I'm not getting the exact word, but I remember what I used to call it. Basically, it's falling off the pedestal. So they were on the pedestal and then they fall off the pedestal, right? And when they fall off the pedestal, it actually literally shatters all that you had thought of them to be. And I think we go through, every child at some point in their life goes through this stage where you're like, they're not as perfect, as amazing as, this thing that I had thought them to be. And that's the period of disappointment where we go through with our parents. And then we reach a third stage, which is beautiful if you can reach, which I call the deep acceptance. Okay, this is how my parents are. They're doing the best that they can with the limited understanding, experience, everything that they have. How can I deal with them, right? Now, depending on family conflict, it's all dependent on what is it you need from them, what is it they need from you. See, families are there for each other, right? Now, if you don't need anything from them, the ability to handle conflict becomes of deep acceptance. Can we accept them for who they are? I don't need anything from them. I have understood that this one is going to be angry only. I've understood this one is going to be sad only. I've understood this one is going to be greedy only. I've understood this one is going to be... It becomes very easy to deal with any conflict when we can look at someone's personality and go, that's exactly how they are. I'm not going to be able to change my parents. Correct or no? So then that's how you deal with it when you don't need anything from them. When you do need something from them, so the conflict is over something that is of question, right? So you need them to babysit your child, or you need that particular property, or you want them to give you your education, or you want to get married to a man who they are not okay with, then the conversation is very different. Where I always say that you have to then go on a journey of putting yourself in a place where you can be independent of them. The day you are independent of them, you are allowed to make all your own decisions. If you are still dependent on them, then you have to adjust to whatever they are asking you for. Got it? Fabulous. And of course, any time in life you are handling conflict, conflict is all about letting people know. If it is a boundary you need to set, you can set a boundary. If it is a request you need to make, you can make a request. When making a request, remember the person is higher, and therefore they may or may not listen. You have to learn to manage your disappointments. If you are setting boundary, then it's a totally completely different thing, because that means you are higher in the equation. So again, all of this is dependent on the conflict itself. So it's a very generic answer for maybe something that you're specifically asking. Nilima, dear Pooja ma'am, what are your 2025 goals? Oh, I have a few actually. But honestly speaking, I've actually put my goals on hold. Hey, what happened to mine? I've actually put my goals on hold for the simple reason. Just one second. Oops. Okay, let's go with this one. It's bright. Because I'm actually leaving for Mexico on the 9th, and I'm very excited about going for this 1 week session where I'm going to sit and redesign what it is I want from my life. I want to plan my next till my 50th birthday, which is about 5 years away. So I want to plan the whole 5 years. I have a general idea of what my goals are. I do the passion test every 3 months, so I'm very, very in tune with my desires, my goals, my wishes, what I want to do, how I want to do it, how many countries I want to travel, what all I want to do. But I'm feeling like I want to start to build something beyond the obvious. So I want to go set goals like Elon Musk. I heard him say this and I really loved it. And he said that 90% people want guarantee before they start the business that the business will succeed. He says, the reason of my success is I purposely set myself up for businesses that majority of the world knows 100% that I will fail. Whether it is the whole colonizing of Mars, or it is the space link, getting the rocket in space, or it is, all of his, if you look at all of his ventures, the ventures are very much beyond what most people will call impossible is what excites him most. So I feel like I want to set some mildly impossible goals. When I say mildly, I mean I don't want to say things like I want to climb Mount Everest or something. That's not the intention. The intention is more to see, can I not just double everything, but can I really do something that's super unique? So I wanna play with that idea, just because I'm such a big fan of people who can live in uncertainty. You see, an average or an ordinary person needs a lot of certainty. The more successful you keep getting, the more comfortable you keep getting with being uncertain in your life. And for most people, they want to get back into their comfort zone because our body screams and our monkey mind plays a very different game with us when we are in the realm of possibilities. The realm of possibilities is where all of the uncertainty lives. Whether it will happen or not, there is no guarantee. So learning to increase your bandwidth of uncertainty is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give to yourself as a human being. I hope this didn't go too upar se, but just trying to tell you, like, I'm not yet structured on my goals. I'm waiting to go to Mexico and do all of that there. Of course, I've done my passion test. This year, one of the things I want to do is spend a lot of time with the boys. I think that's maybe out of all my goals, my number one goal this year is to be able to be a lot more with them, whether physically or on Zoom or in touch or on the phone. I just want to have a lot more interaction. Prabhu Naam Kripa is asking how to help someone come out of emotional trauma. Wow. So Prabhu, firstly, it depends a lot on what this emotional trauma is. But there is a lovely lady called Marissa Peers, and she speaks a lot about one of the things to do when someone's going through emotional trauma. Of course, any sort of trauma firstly needs time to go from wound to scar. So if you try to help someone too fast, what happens a lot of time could be that, you know what, they are still in the wound stage. In the wound stage, you can't help people going through the trauma. So even the ones who are in the trauma at that point, you need to first get them out of the trauma. Now, if it is a past trauma, they need to create a new story. Now, how you can help them create a new story around the trauma? One is to understand, why did this happen? We normally say, why did this happen to me? More in a manner of, it was so unfair. What if it was not unfair, but a lesson that we needed to learn from life? You know, how can I make the most of this situation? Another beautiful question to ask when someone is recovering from trauma, that okay, now that this has happened and we can't go back into the past and change it, is it possible that 5 years from now you will land up saying that the next 5 beautiful years of my life got created because I made up my mind to never be able to go through that situation or never be in that situation where someone can do that to me ever again? You know, I feel like a lot of my life got built because every time something went wrong in my life, I asked myself this question, okay, right now I'm in this position, but 2 years from now, I don't want to be complaining about the exact same thing. I don't want to be complaining about, I don't want to live in the same cycle of waiting for someone else to change. So what is it I need to do in my life for my life to work is something that I would work with. So a beautiful question and a new story. So the new story I gave myself when I got married at 18 was, when I look back now, I can say, is that, you know what, good, my parents didn't waste any money on my graduation because there was no way I could have known at that point that I wanted to be a life coach. So all of the money that I got, I spent it on becoming a life coach rather than a degree course. So just gave myself a new story, you know, a new story in everything. When you keep creating, then suddenly you can remove all of the pain from it and create a story that actually empowers you rather than disempowers you. I think if you had to ask me, one of the most evolved things that we can do is to use our intelligence to create a new story. We all have a default setting, which is that our mind will give meaning to everything that happens in our life. We enter a party, we see a friend, the friend doesn't look at us properly or doesn't greet us properly and walks away. Now our mind needs to give meaning to that situation. The meaning it may give it is, oh God, she's so arrogant, or oh my God, she didn't even see me. Oh my God, maybe I did something wrong, you know, maybe she's not talking to me properly. Our mind can give any meaning, right? So now, how do we handle our mind? That is where your intelligence comes in. Some people will give it a negative meaning in their imagination. Some people can give it a positive meaning in their imagination. Some people will literally go and ask the person, hey, everything okay? You know, you were not so warm to me today. I hope all is good between us. Some people will find out later on that, you know what, oh God, she was not wearing her glasses that day, so she didn't even see me. She's like, ayo, us din mere se itna blunder ho gaya, main to kisi ko hello hi nahi kiya. All of that exists, right? So the lower your self-esteem, the more you will give it negative meaning. The higher your self-esteem, the lesser it will matter. Work on your self-esteem rather than on all of that. Yeah. So how to help someone come out of an emotional trauma? Help them create a new story on that trauma once the wound becomes a scar. Bhavna, ma'am, can I make a vision board today? Of course. Vision board does not understand any dates. It doesn't understand any day. It doesn't understand any day is a good day. Just make it. Okay. Now, one of the things I say is, in December, ideally, what you should do is that live your habits so that by the time in January you set your resolutions, you're able to continue to live those habits rather than starting from scratch. Okay. Now, if you haven't done that, make January your period of transition. And from 1st February, live that life that will be fulfilling for your vision board. But of course, the answer is you can make your vision board, the sooner the better. That's like any time. There is no fixed time for when you should or you can make the vision board. Want to meet you in 2025, and I know my heart is saying I will. AFO, looking forward to give you a big hug. Kirti Prashant, which is the latest course you are doing, Pooja? The latest course that will be coming up now is this weekend on the 4th and 5th of January. I am going to be doing my coaching mastery program. So if you haven't come for it, please register and aajao. I'd love to see you there. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year QMG, Happy New Year, love you. My not able to hear, oh ho. देखो log in log out करके देखो. Barkha Bajla, when we don't get appreciated by my mother-in-law after I do so much for her, what should I do? When you're doing anything for your mother-in-law, it is not for her to appreciate you, it is for your spouse to appreciate you, because what you're really doing is for him and not for her. Once you understand this entire equation, then you will realize that we've got this whole concept of mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, direct relationship wrong. So see if you can start to check with your spouse what is it he wants you to do and how can he appreciate and compensate you. So move your expectations of appreciation from your mother-in-law to the man who actually matters. Which course are you going for in Mexico? It's a private course, it's not a public course, so no point talking about it, but it's basically Vision 3.0. There's a beautiful campus called MEA, so I'm going there. Once I'm back, I'll give you all of the details, okay? Very strange to see your energy as per your age, really cool. I think one of the problems in our world is that we connect energy with age. I think we shouldn't do that. So I'm going to ask every single one of you. You know, there was a studies done, and I can't recollect which college of America had done it, but it was a beautiful study done where they made everybody had to believe they were 10 years younger, and they changed their entire surrounding to 10 years before. So the calendar started to say, let's say right now we're in 2024, right? So I'm 44. 2025 we are in, and I'm going to be 45, sorry, the year. So I'm going to be 45. Imagine, what if I started to wake up every day imagining it's 2015 and I'm 35, not 45. And I acted as if I was 35. And in the study, they noticed that every single person, so this was done for the older age group, people above 70, and every single person, so they were listening to music, what they used to hear in the 50s and the 60s, their music. They started to, wear clothes like that. They started to pretend to be like that. Every single person's health parameters improved the minute in their head they started to believe that they were younger. So I feel like we make too many connections with age, while age is truly just a number. And you can be your strongest, your fittest, your smartest, your most wisest self with age, true or not? And yet we start to give up on ourselves just because of age. So I'm going to ask every single one of you here, for 2025, for this 1 year, live life as if you're 10 years younger than whatever your age is. Now, of course, if you're only 25, I don't want you to go down to 15. But if you are older than 40, I'd love for you to just try this out. Imagine yourself as 30, imagine yourself as 40, imagine yourself as 50, imagine yourself as 60. Reduce yourself by 10 years and choose clothes like that, act like that, walk at that speed, exercise like that. Start to just pretend to be 10 years younger, and you'll see a complete shift in your energy. Nishu Kumari is asking, Pooja ma'am, how can we take our responsibility fully? So Nishu, I feel like we have two roles, okay, in life. One is what are the things that are in our control, and what are the things that is in God's control, correct? So I study for my exams, that's in my control. The question paper will come according to what I've studied or not, from the chapters that I left out will be in God's hand, correct? So a lot of faith and surrender and a lot of hard work. The combination of hard work and faith and surrender to me is the most beautiful way to take responsibility of your life. Some people, when they start to take responsibility, they even start to want to take responsibility of the results. The minute you start to take responsibility of the results, you'll get too attached to the results, which means it'll cause anxiety, worry, fear. All of those will start to come into your life. That's what you want to stay away from, correct? So you want to do whatever you need to do, list out all that is in your control, and then do a lot of praying. Lot of this, this connection to the universe, that if I will put in my 100%, God will give me what I need. And even if there is a delay, it's a divine delay. What do I mean by divine delay? That God knows better than me when exactly should the results be coming into my life. When you operate from this energy in life, know that something beyond you is protecting you, is there for you. I feel like it's one of the most easiest ways to go through life. That's when you get into what we call the flow state. And the flow state is you do what you need to do and then you surrender. Then you surrender to whatever happens and you have this massive smile on your face no matter which way the tide goes. Got it? Oh, so sweet. Kanchi, please don't seek any validation, darling. If you want to do the vision board so much, go ahead and do it. Somebody's answering somebody else. Please don't seek so much validation. I don't know if she was seeking validation. I think she just wants to know if she can make the vision board even today, because I think normally I will say that try to make it in the previous year so that from the 1st of January itself, you know exactly where you're headed. But thank you for helping her. Manjari, how to become careful for self-care, body, mind and soul. Manjari, the stronger your rituals, your routines, your habits, the more you will be careful with your self-care. So whether it is your skincare or it is your exercise or it is your meditation or chantings or it is doing gratitude for your soul, these are all various different activities that can be done. So I want you to sit and list out all the possible things that you can do. Like this year, I have made Mondays into self-care days. So normally I'll do the massage whenever I can. I'll go to the salon whenever I can. I'll do whatever I can whenever I can. I don't have a planned schedule for self-care as such. But this year I have a very clear intention that I am going to write out 5-7 things. For example, going for lunch with one of the friends, going for a massage, going to, looking after myself in different forms, whatever it is I want to do, all will be scheduled on Monday. So Monday is going to be my day of making sure every week that the soul that lives inside of me also gets looked after. So see if that helps you in any way, sweetheart. Nushrani, I have done your awakening, your coaching mastery, your enlightenment. I've also enrolled into coaching certification, which is starting on 9th January. So how do I become a part of your team, which I'm trying to manifest? So when you are doing courses with me, you are massively a part of my community, my sweetheart. So you're already in my inner circle. If you are interested in becoming a part of my team and you've already joined coaching certification from 9th January, you're already en route to do that. Okay. So for anybody who wants to become a big sister with me, for anybody who'd like to become a head coach with me, one of the mandatory steps is to do the coaching certification, which for you is starting on 9th January. The rest of the questions I will answer inside. Plentitude D Life Beginnings. I think I ruined your name. I'm sorry. When was it that you really felt successful? Well, I've had a few moments in my life where I really felt successful. I think there was a time in my life where I would enter these Kirana stores, you call them, I don't know what you call them, like these stores which sell food products, right? So when you go, from where you go buy your juices, your fruits, your vegetables, your cornflakes, your sauces, your achars, your all of that. When I used to go to those stores earlier, I used to look at all the prices, oh God, this cheese is so expensive, or the blueberries are so expensive, the cornflakes the imported cornflakes so expensive, or the Amul ka dabba, ke Kraft ka dabba, just all of that, right? So I feel like the one day came in my life where I decided that anything that I put in my body, I will not see the price of. that if it is getting consumed, not getting wasted, but if it is getting consumed, which means it's going to enter my body and my body is my temple, then I'm never going to worry about price in that. And I remember a time coming in my life where I could afford to do that. And to me, that was one of my days of feeling like I've arrived. Like to go into, there's a store called Amanana here that I go into. It's very much like Waitrose, or, you have all of these different. So you go into those kind of stores and then you just take a trolley and you keep putting whatever you like, and in the end your bill may come to 5, 6, 7,000 rupees. And to not look at every item's price, or to not reduce or remove something from my trolley because the bill came higher than what I had imagined, used to be a very good feeling. So that was, I think, one of the points in my life where I felt very successful in terms of that, now I can eat anything I like on this planet without ever having to worry. Not that I worried earlier. I don't think I was ever the kind of person who would have left anything, but I just feel like it became beyond something that I had to too much matter or care about. And that slowly seeped into everything. Then I remember there was a point in my life where I wanted to go to the Dubai Mall and pick up these 4, 5 things that I had in mind on one single day. Which means on one single day I wanted my, to spend a certain amount of money in one single day. And I remember going and doing that, and never again did I do it because I felt it was not required. But it was just another way of telling myself that, oh wow, this feels so good. So these were the 2 moments financially which I feel like I felt my success. Of course, last year, Changemaker speaking in front of 3,000 people was definitely one of those moments of my life where I felt like, wow, like to have this size of audience, I think that was very, very cool. So if you've not enrolled for Changemakers up until now, I'm going to highly recommend to you 8th February, Mumbai Geo Convention Center. Please come, let's spend the whole day together. My amazing teacher, Jack Canfield, my mentor, is coming from America. I am so super duper excited. So if you haven't yet bought your ticket, highly, highly recommend that. Please go pick up your ticket so that you don't miss the opportunity of meeting me and a lot of the masters that are going to be there in the room. Raj Soni is asking, never make unhappy people happy, is it right? Never make unhappy people happy, is it right? I don't know about never make unhappy people happy. I just think that some people, even if you try to make them happy, they don't want to be happy. So in case you're referring to that category of people, you can try. But after a while, you should know that everyone is responsible for their own happiness. And that most of the time when we are trying too hard to make someone happy, they are not really receiving it. So I don't know in what context or what exactly you're asking, but my suggestion is people respond to genuine love. So keep giving that love genuinely, and at some point this unhappy person may decide to do things differently. And even if they don't, at least from your side, you genuinely cared, and the only part that matters in this is your genuinity and your love and care. How they respond, again, like I said, there's a part that you play and there's a part that someone else plays. We cannot control the parts that other people play, correct? We can only do what we can do. So you do everything that you want to do because you want to do it, and then leave it for them to decide how they want to receive it. Some people can receive my love and feel it's completely fake and plastic. Oh God, she's just too much. She's always happy, always positive. It's so irritating. How can anyone be like that? I know people who have that kind of a reaction to my personality. I also know people who get inspired and love the positivity that I come with. It's not my job to change myself for any or either. It's my job to continuously be who I am and allow for others to receive me the way they choose to. Some will receive you beautifully, some will not. Doesn't matter. You just keep becoming the best version of yourself. Oh, lovely Anita. Looking forward to seeing you at Changemakers. Shape in Size asking, how often do you travel? I love it that you're always traveling to different countries. I am obsessed. Okay, so I am a gypsy at heart, and the one of the biggest reasons why I work so hard is so that I can enable the life and the travel that I desire and dream of. So I am not someone who spends too much on things, but I am someone who spends a lot on experiences. So I travel a lot. I mean, I think a minimum of 5 new countries a year is what I'm gonna say, but I think it's even more. So yeah, that's generally my benchmark is 5 new countries every year. So every alternate month I like to be in some country or the other, and if it's a new country, even better. Afo is saying, I love you, sweetheart. That many kisses. Thank you so much. You just made my new year. So cute. Yuthika, kindly say strong mindset need for beginner coach. Kindly say strong mindset need for beginner coach. I'm sorry, I'm just not able to figure out what you're asking, sweetheart, but God bless you. Khushbu, happiest new year, Pooja ma'am. I don't join your live, but do watch you after. Lots and lots of love for all that you do, for everyone, and even for yourself to evolve, which is so helpful for all of us. Thank you, Khushbu, for all that appreciation, darling. Femi, I just delivered my second baby 2 months ago. Congratulations. I'm in my career break and my husband's income is low. How can I handle the money situation? I am in deep stress. Oh God, Femi. That is not a great place to be in. Having said that, I don't know what your choices are, but I would love for you to start to look at, do you have any savings? Is there anybody around you who can support you and help you? Because I would like you to dedicate this first year to your second baby. You know, it is too early for you to return back to work. Most of the times, you know, when you are in a career break, that means you do not even have any kind of maternity leave income coming in, which is unfortunate. And if your husband is not doing too well, you may feel stress and constraint, unfortunately. But you know what? Give yourself this year, adjust in whatever money you are being able to manage in, and we women are super jugadu. I don't want you to worry. I want you to know the Indian woman is one of the smartest women with money. We don't realize how smart we are with money. We can make 1 rupee 10. That's how smart we are when we choose to be smart. So learn to be smart with money till the time you can go back to work and have that second income. Okay, so it's going to be a stressful period. Enjoy the baby, focus on the baby. Fortunately, it's not too much right now that the baby needs, but your time. It's not need based. Okay, and encourage your husband in the meantime to look at how can he improve his skill sets so that he can start to get better salary. So a beautiful conversation to have with him is that if you had to increase your salary, what are the things that you would need to learn or add value in at your workplace for you to be able to earn more. So you can be more inspiring and encouraging to him. You can be more wise and slightly frugal with your money, only for in time to go back to your double income house. That is ideally the best place to be in. Having said that, I am going to add to you that, you know what, I do a lot of these courses where I help women become financially independent. If you are free, with your baby itself, you can come and attend my 2 days because it's all on Zoom. It's in the comfort of your home. Start to study a lot so that by the time when you actually hit the market, your skill set should not be left behind, but you should be on top of everything. So see what are all the things that you can do learning in. Okay, so it's a great time to spend an hour or two, especially when your baby is sleeping, studying. And I feel like, you know, the next 1 year, you may not right now be able to use all of what you may learn, but when you go back into the marketplace, you can literally double your salary by the time you go back because of all of the new skill sets that you've learned. PR Tamata 9594. I have my question. After spending 34 years with my parents, my father is making a false statement in front of my in-laws and I'm really stressed. Please reply. You know, when it's your own father doing that, it always feels like such a strong betrayal. I'd like you to sit him down and have an open conversation on how this is not okay. and that you're not going to allow for this to happen. If you are close to your in-laws, speak to them also. If you are close to your father, speak to him. If you're not close, you still need to sit down and clear the air. Do it. Some people may appreciate it, some people may not understand it. It doesn't matter. From your side, you do what you need to and then back off, knowing that, you know what, some people just talk without thinking, and you have to just leave them to be themselves. And the thing is, those who know you will know you're not that kind, and those who don't know you and decide to misunderstand you is a great way of you coming to know who is on your side and who's not, who's using this as an opportunity and who's using this as a to tell you that, you know what, don't worry what your father has to say, we can clearly tell it's a false statement. So these are great times for us to figure out who are our people. Got it? Soulful Solicitor. Hi Pooja, myself and my husband in long relationship, how to keep my communication with strong connectivity between us so that the understanding of each other is there. I'm guessing it's a long distance relationship. You have to come up with lots of rituals, my darling. So it all depends on how do you both say good morning to each other, how do you both say good night to each other, what do you do over the weekends when he's off, how do you spend time together, can you play games. Today long distance relationships are not half as hard as they used to be, because we have FaceTime, we have WhatsApp, we have Zoom, we have every facility where apart from being physically present, everything else is possible. We can see each other, we can talk to each other, we can be in touch with each other all the time. So some boundaries that are required for you to be able to be present in your careers, in whatever else you are doing, and some connections, points that you can bring in. A good morning, a good night, an update, gratitude. These are great ways of staying in touch with the person. Again, you both have to sit down with each other and talk it out on who needs what. Some people in a relationship need space. Some people in a relationship feel abandoned when given space. So depending on who's needy for what, it's a conversation to be had amongst each other so that you can come up with, you know, ways that work for both of you. Like whenever Puneet's traveling, I tell him, okay, just send me a good morning text, just send me a good night text. Just before sleeping, give me a quick 2-minute update on how your day was. All of those things are helpful, and then we can connect at a deeper level over the weekend or at a point when both of us are free. Yeah. Ilakia Arun is asking, oh, hi Pooja, missed you and this energy so much. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And I will see you sometime in this year. I know you are a part of some of the programs, so looking forward to having you there. I am Deepa Hegde. Here in Sutton Coldfield in Birmingham, I see many old people above 70 dress up so nicely. They live like 20 years younger to their present age, and you said it so rightly, Pooja. Oh, okay. I've just now reached the place where I had spoken about. Okay, let me go right to the bottom so that I'm not missing anyone. Perfect. Deepika. Decided not to take money from my husband anymore. Is this a good step or wrong? He made me feel small whenever you asked him for money, so don't want it anymore. This decision is out of pain or not ego. Okay, I guess you're asking me this question. You decided not to take money from my husband. I'm guessing it must be I decided not to take money from my husband anymore. Is this a good step or a wrong step? You know what? There comes a time in our marriage where because they have made us feel small or because they are not good with the way they give us the money, we get so hurt that anytime we get hurt, then what we do is we block ourselves so that we can numb ourselves of the pain that we feel whenever we are made to feel a certain way. So I don't know if it is from ego or it is from pain. To me, that's not where I'm looking at the situation as. I am more interested in knowing, if you're not taking money from him, what are you going to do? Okay, so if you already have a solution, let's say you have a job, you are financially independent, you have a father who's willing to afford you, then you're not taking money from him is perfectly fine. And if you don't have any other via media and you're fully dependent on him and you decide not to take money from him, then you're going to truly suffer. Now, the important part is what you do after, not what this decision you can make. What you do after will decide whether it was from pain or from ego. Okay. So I remember making this decision at one point in my marriage where I was like, you know what, I want to earn my own money. This is not working out for me the way, you know, I'm feeling like he's thinking I'm money minded or I'm greedy or I'm high maintenance, while I was just trying to provide for him and for my children the best life possible. And I remember very consciously going on a journey of wanting to earn my own money. Now what I didn't do is I didn't stop taking his money, but I stopped asking for anything extra or anything more. Whatever I got, I managed in that, knowing that my mission was to now start to learn to make my own money. And the day I started to make my own money, I actually stopped taking money. I still take gifts from him, but I don't take any more money from him. And I feel like my relationship with my husband works out best when I'm not involving money, because our money meters are very different. He's a person who will only buy things if he needs it. I'm a woman who buys things because I want it. So whenever he will ask me, do you really need it? I'll say, no, I won't die without it, but I want it. So I feel like he operates at such a different energy when it comes to money, that I have learned to go on my own journey, and it's made our marriage so much stronger because he's not doing anything purposely to hurt me. That's just who he is. He was brought up with the value system that you don't waste money on things simply. You buy only what you need. While I am the kind of person who will buy things because I want to upgrade my life. Why do I have the iPhone 15 Pro or the 16 now? Soon if I want to buy it. Why will I have it? Because it exists, I will have it. Arey, ye kaisa answer hai? Just because it exists, you want to buy it. If it exists and I can afford it, why shouldn't I have it? That's the way I think, right? So I'm not sure about the ego or the pain. Did I come from ego or did I come from pain? I just feel like I came from understanding that there is a conflict between my spouse and me, and I want to solve it. And he's not wrong where he's coming from, but I'm also not wrong where I'm coming from. It's totally okay to be either. And I have to learn to respect him for who he is. He has to learn to respect me for who I am. That's a much better way to be. And the respect will only come when he doesn't have to provide for me. So use all of what I have given you as information, Deepika, and see how can you make sense of it in your life. Okay. Now, if you do not have any money, you are by law, allowed to take his money. So there is no problem there. So if you are going to put extra sufferings on yourself because, you want to teach him a lesson, or you want to yourself not feel small, then I want you to re-examine the situation to get to a point where you can start to make your own money, and at some point maybe stop taking from him. I actually feel like, you know what, men should provide for us so beautifully that we shouldn't have to ever think the way we are thinking, because that's something that is such a wonderful role play. While I'm not a believer of gender roles as such, I do believe that one person brings in the income, the other person uses that income and makes your life beautiful. Either one can do that, so that's not the issue here. But this combination of collaboration is so beautiful. So if we can learn to collaborate with one person bringing in the money and the other person investing it, making your lifestyle better, making your house better, making your children study, it's also good. And at one point the man brought the income in and the woman made it tenfolds. Right now, these days, it could be either bringing in the money and either of them making it tenfolds. But that combination works so wonderfully. Is this course about money manifestation? No. Yutika, I've done your CM in December, going to do CC next year. My question is, what kind of a mindset should a coach carry to be successful? I think one of the things coaches have to do is drop a lot of judgment. The world is busy judging. Coaches need to operate from the energy of this desire that nobody is perfect and we are here to help. Whatever someone's issue is, if we can give them the safe space to grow from there, people are actually extremely wise. If you speak to most people, you'll realize they know their answers. Most of them even know what they need to do. Okay, but the thing is that it's so hard to do what they need to do that it's so much more comfortable to blame someone or complain about the economy or, you know, make an excuse. It's just easier to live in that. So when a coach shows up in someone's life and starts to bring out from their life all that they need to do, that becomes such a beautiful relationship. So the kind of mindset that I'd love for you to develop, for you to become an amazing coach, is to be less judgmental, more loving and giving, lot of high energy, bold enthusiasm, you know, don't give too much advice, ask better quality questions. I think all of this helps for a coach to be a great coach. Oh, Uma Basu saying, I love you to the moon and back. All right, on that note, I am going to run. I am so glad that I was able to make it today. I wasn't too sure, but I said, you know what, I really want to do this. It's gotten really dark. I don't know if it's even gotten dark here. Let's get a picture. Tell me in the chat box or underneath this video in the comment section or in the stories, what was your biggest takeaway from today's session? A very, very happy new year. If you are in this room today, I just want you to know, sending you loads and loads of blessings, that may this year truly be the year of abundance, the year of transitioning into that upgraded, up-leveled life that you've been dreaming of. Yesterday I read a beautiful quote that may the tears of 2024 be the watering of the seeds in 2025 for the flowers to blossom and give us the fruit. So may whatever your struggles have been, start to convert now into joyful situations in your life so that you can truly start to enjoy the dream life that you've been working so hard to create. Thank you so much for coming. Take care. Let's quickly get a picture. Bye. Ciao. Thank you. Happy New Year. Superb. I'm so glad you started the year with me. 1,000 kisses. Loads of love. Love you so much. I can still see there are so many doubts and questions. I wish I could just sit here another hour and keep answering your questions, but unfortunately I have to run and the questions don't end. So if your question did not get answered, send it to me on direct message and I'll try my best to answer it. Okay, otherwise come back next week and we will continue these beautiful conversations. Bye, ciao, loads of love you, tata.